at opportunities to grow internationally, IMC can be a wonderful platform for you to be with. And with this, I would like to say that we are today having our last series of sessions out of the 7 session series what we had started. So this is the last, but again, there will be something new which we have already discussed. We already been discussing at the committee level, and stay tuned, stay connected. Lot of new activities are happening at IMC in Navi Mumbai, and if you have any ideas, keep pouring in, keep suggesting. Most importantly, what we are building here is creating a cell wherein any business which finds difficulties in any of the areas of their businesses, they come to IMC, and IMC can help out to them through their member portal, or again, connecting them with right solutions for their businesses. So thank you everyone for being here, and special thank you to our speakers for the day today, Tejinder Singh ji and AK Mohanty ji. So it's really delighted to have you with us. And with this, let me give a brief introduction of both our learned speakers today. So let me start with Mr. Tejinder Singh. Tejinder Singh ji has been into the business mentoring for more than 20 years with 20 years of experience, and he's been the founder director of M3 Business Mentors Private Limited. His PhD in strategy from Michigan University, and most importantly, he helps businesses to achieve their true potential. So with this, I welcome Tejinder ji to this platform of IMC. I know you have been associated with IMC for a very, very long time. I mean, when I came and joined IMC, I know, we had met at one of the IMC events. So welcome to have you with us today, and look forward for great insights from you. And let me also introduce our second speaker for the day, Mr. AK Mohanty. Mr. AK Mohanty is the founder of Tattva, and Tattva strongly believes that it's utmost important to work for the society and creating wealth. So now Mr. AK Mohanty is working more on promoting entrepreneurship in the country and abroad. He is a founder member of TAI Bhubaneswar, Invest Bhubaneswar, connecting Odisha to promote Odisha as a brand and connecting all people who are interested in Odisha. Mr. AK Mohanty is a regular visitor to all the educational institutions like IITs, IIMs, local engineering and management colleges. And most importantly, his drive and passion to promote entrepreneurship is something which I have been looking at. I've already attended one of his sessions. So amazing drive, and he's made he has made it a passion for work for entrepreneurship across the country, and especially Odisha, to make it a startup heaven. So welcome, sir, to this session, and over to you, Shweta, for taking up the session ahead today. Thank you.
So much. Yes, thank you, Divya and AK. Divya, AK, and welcome, Mr. Tejinder Singh. So today's topic is Innovate, Integrate, Motivate, Leadership Mantra of 2021. Mostly all of you are entrepreneurs running your businesses across sectors, different stages of your business, from different parts, mostly from Bombay and Navi Mumbai. So, today both are experts. It's very unique. You have to look at why. So, AK here is somebody who has grown, first generation entrepreneur, built a business from a 3-people team to a full-fledged IT and ITS company, which is 3,000 members strong today, from a state like Odisha, where we sitting in cities like Bombay and Navi Mumbai complain about a lot of things, that this is not happening and that is not happening. So here is he to give you his perspectives on leadership. And then we have our second expert, Mr. Tejinder Singh, who is guiding entrepreneurs, who is coaching. So he will give you the other perspective. So, we'll get a very 360-degree perspective with both our experts on board. Over to you. The format of the session is, I leave it to both your speakers. So 15 minutes each, where you give your perspective on leadership, share lessons with us, stories, experiences, and inputs that could help all our participants. And after that, we will open the floor for discussion and specific questions pertaining to leadership challenges that our participants are facing in their respective organizations. And few rules for all of you. All you participants who are not speaking, request you to be on mute. Please use the chat window to talk to us once. Let's welcome our speakers. They are giving us the time. Let's be thankful, stay till the end, and show respect for each other. So, welcome all of you. Over to you, AK and Mr. Tejendra Singh. Any of you, either of you could go first. So, I leave it to you.
So I asked Tajendra to start
Hello.
fast because he's hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
So because you are the mentor and
Hello.
I'll be here to get chance to learn
Hello.
from you also. So if you could put light something, definitely it will be a privilege for me to listen to you.
All right. Thank you, Ansi, for
Yes.
giving this
So,
opportunity.
yes.
And it's always a pleasure to connect to such a wonderful team of people and such an institute who is looking forward to such a great nation building plus an entrepreneurship building way where we all can together grow. Okay, so coming to the today's session, integrate, innovate. My my outlook towards the entrepreneurship is, it's completely connecting to the leadership quality that one owes today. Starting a business is very easy, but in the next 5 years, or the 6 years, or the 7 years, how many startups will be there after 6 years? If you see some kind of data analytics, it talks about that 80% of the businesses fail in the first 5 years. And in the next 2 years, which is from a startup till the 7 years, there is another set of 7 to 8% that the businesses will still fail. Now, why these businesses fail? The external factors are, of course, one primary reason. Coming just to cite an example of the pandemic, which is across the world today, we have seen many businesses going down. Many businesses which have taken up the opportunity and they have flourished in the times of pandemic. Now, why these successes happens and why these failures happen? As I said, I directly correlate this to the leadership quality. In most of the businesses, what we normally see is the leaders, the owners, the employees. What is the culture that has been inculcated within the employees is very important. The culture which we want to look forward, or the culture that which I normally speak to the entrepreneurs, is always not about growing business or trying to build a strategy just out of blue. My outlook towards growing the business is absolutely on terms of incorporating external or a third party data, because data is an important part of analytics and the programs as the companies look for strategic insights from outside their firms. Without having a culture of data analytics, the growth of business is impossible. I would say it's actually not possible. A successful, data strategy turns a company's data into an important insight of the financial gains. But it shouldn't start with information from inside the firm, from historic weather information to customer preferences to the shopping trends to the organization that have access to a vast number of data outside the walls, some for the price or some others for the free. These are the certain elements that can sharpen the analytics and ultimately it gives a boost to the bottom line. If you see today in the startups or any successful organizations today, the culture of speaking and presenting a dashboard is already there. We talk about in the dashboard meetings, business mein kya chal raha hai, what are the challenges the people are facing. But we are still, as far as I say, a country, as a country, India, it's only the Fortune 500 companies where the culture of a dashboard report is being looked into a data analytic way. The graphical presentation or the numbers talk about itself, but without having an understanding on the numbers, which is on the decline or towards the peak, it talks a lot of things. So my first foundation to let every entrepreneur know and to build an atmosphere of the data analytics way for every kind of strategy that they want to build for the customers. Because organizations that share their own data with customers or the vendors or the government agencies and even the competitors report, it gives a lot of business influence on the ecosystem. Now, you know, again, when we talk about this pandemic, which is there in the country, a lot of initiative is being taken to understand the number of cases which are going high on a daily basis in the past couple of weeks. So government is coming with some kind of, again, measures, a partial lockdown they want to talk about. They want to talk about, the vaccine. So these are all what the government is trying to initiate. They are taking the data from every city or from the number of registered cases of the COVID in the coming days, and then they are trying to build a strategy what is best for the city or the state. So similarly, the companies which use the external data to augment their decision-making process will always be successful to meet the best customer needs so they can predict the supply and demand and all those areas where they think, yes, this is the right way that we have to go. So the practice of bringing the external data isn't new today, but many companies have focused their data strategy thus far of making a use of a structured and an unstructured data within their own organizations. So the unstructured data is already there within the company or the department. It's all there. Now, if you see, I want to cite here an example of the banking industry. In earlier days, what used to happen? I'm talking about the era of say 80s and the 90s of the banking industry. Every single person used to visit. There was a huge line. There were no ATMs. ATMs were about to come at that time. So the kind of customer service that we wanted to have was not possible at that time. But with the invent of technology and the growing demands of the retail banking, ATMs came forward. We can meet our daily needs by visiting the ATM. So the number of ATMs started growing in the country. So this is what banking industry very closely started looking into the core of the business. Now they have then they have suddenly introduced, I think in the mid of 90s, they have started introducing having a RMs for every single accounts that the banking people have. So the relationship managers, now suppose I have a relationship manager of my personal account, my children's account, or my company account. I have a relationship manager. So for my every needs, I don't have to connect to a call center. I don't have to go to the bank and do it. I just can call my relationship manager, ask him the areas of opportunities or the business's needs that I'm looking at, and then he can do his own work. There is a relationship manager of your account, and then there is a person who handles the current accounts of so many companies. So he's the whole and soul in charge. So these are certain areas of opportunities which I want to highlight, that how the banking industry has changed over a period of last 20 years or the 30 years. The entire segment is all about the personal likes and dislikes of a customer, his or her, the way of the transactions that he or she is making. And that's how we see, quite often the banks offer some kind of loans. They offer credit cards. They do offer, all these things. So at the end of the day, what the bank or the relationship manager, he has been taught or he has been trained to understand the cycle of the customer. What are his incomes? How much of expenses he's ready to make, or how much of money as an average balance he's keeping in his account. And that is how they connect the retail sales of the banking sector. So when I say this, that is how they learn and that is how they connect. So it's nothing about but data. It's nothing about the data. And the same way, the insurance industry has always been driven by data. Insurance companies have a very strong interest in finding out the information about risk that they are taking, of the customers or the common man. So they identify and they bring out some or the other kind of policies or the insurance way where they can tap the customer. So the insurance company, they try to tap what kind of risk which is happening today. They are taking and pulling out the data like the credit scores, the historic information. So these are certain elements. Again, I'm coming back to the current situation as an example. In this pandemic time, I myself remember my insurance company, whom I deal with, my relationship manager calls up and says, "Sir, we are having a COVID policy with us. It starts after the 15 days when you make the payment, and it's there for 90 days. And this is what your EMI is." So these are certain understanding of the data. At the end of the day, what that company did, they understood that people all are in the lockdown stage. Now still the business has to go. So what is the threat or what is the opportunity in the society? So insurance companies are the best industry, which is, as I said, it's always been driven by data. So they want to tap the business. They want to grow wherever they are, and the kind of external data which I always talk about, it keeps on bearing. So the government is also using the data, the private sector is also using the data, but where and how the entrepreneur is making himself learn that how the data can be used, though it is lying in the company in a very unstructured format. So is he trying to create a culture or the cult where he and his team are learning together about how the unstructured data can be made in a structured way? Because just launching an honky ponky advertisement or strategy to spread out the company name or the brand anywhere is not going to work out today. With the advent of social media technology, the way it is going, Twitter, Facebook ads, Google ads, the level of business has 360-degree made a change. There was a time when people, I wouldn't say there was a time, there is still a time when where people use Google AdWords for spreading out their brand in the business. But how many people do understand the Google ads? How does it work? And how do you create a brand out of it? People just want to put up some tags, and if they're any customer sitting anywhere in the world, they say put my company's name, which is M3 Business Matters, and they just put it across Mentors. So they will find some good company names which is matching mine. But technically, if I am not a good strategist and I want to make it in a way where people tap exactly the same opportunities which my company does. So I do not want to go in Google ads. I don't want to do a Facebook marketing. I don't want to do any kind of branding which is just based on some commonology of some usage of verbiages of the words. There is a different set of strategy which needs today, which most of the people today, I would, with my analytics and my understanding of how this system works, 75% of people in India or the entrepreneurs are still busy with the Facebook ads, the Google ads, and they are not just trying to tap their own customers. They are not trying to connect within their own customers. So now, when we talk about all these things, a host of information is available, including the data. So we have talked about the current pandemic scenario. We have talked about the banking sector. We have spoken about the insurance sector. The same is the condition of the business, the people working in the real estate sector, which is one of the best examples today. The real estate example, they know the customer, they know what is the investment that is required, but what is the end-to-end solution? What is the end-to-end analytics? The real estate business, I have very closely worked within Mumbai and Navi Mumbai with many such real estate guys. What their understanding is completely, advertised phone calls. Sir, are you interested in purchasing property, which I too normally get? Yeah, are you trying to say something?
No, sir. Please continue. I was just saying that we have 2 more minutes and, we have to bring AK in.
Yeah. So just raise your hands when I'm done.
Yes.
All right. So depending upon the need and how, so these are certain areas, which I strongly want to address today in the session, that we need to tap the power of the unstructured data which is there in the company, and it is the leadership's responsibility, it is the entrepreneurship responsibility, who needs to take care of this and learn by himself, apart from his own communication style, apart from his leadership management style, apart from his financial management style. So the unstructured way of managing the business with data, to just last 1 minute, Amazon is one of the best example. Amazon customers are used by the company to track all their likes and dislikes, their purchases, their non-purchases, and that is how Amazon keeps on prompting the customer that you may like this also, you may like this also, customer who bought this also. So when we do some purchases on the Amazon, how Amazon has grown so fast, it is only because they have tapped every single customer's likes and dislikes, and they have used that kind of data most appropriately to the core of 90%, which is the reason for their major foundational growth apart from the financial implications and the other aspects of it. All right, I think 15 minutes are back.
Yes, yes. So wonderful. So I'm sure, let me get back all our past participants into the discussion. What quickly, just putting it in 2 lines for all of you. Here, Mr. Singh spoke about how important it is to understand your customer. To drive a successful strategy for your business, you need to understand your customer, and for that, data is very useful. And understanding data, making sense of data can only happen when you're capturing it and analyzing it, and you can use technology to do it. So a lot of important things he touched upon. Now let me get AK into the discussion, because AK, I and all of us strongly feel that MSMEs or startups, finally, small businesses are all owner driven businesses. We may call them startup, we may call them MSMEs, but a owner driven business is also how we look at them. So the mindset of the owner has a lot to do with the success and the journey of the business. So your take on leadership that you see around what needs to be done, and also you being a technology man, the data aspect, the analytics, and all that we spoke about, Mr. Singh spoke about, you could also take that ahead. Yes, over to you. You have to
You're on mute. Yeah.
Yourself, AK.
So, good afternoon, everyone. And I give my sincere thanks to MC, Shweta, and other people who has given the opportunity to meet all of you. It's a real pleasure of an unique opportunity for me, because let me honest confess, the first time I participate and I'm just somebody's emphasizing on data. Honestly, I keep going to many seminars and many meetings, many symposiums, but never we have given importance to data. But I was just listening to Mr. Singh, and I honestly confess and realize that how data is important for all of us, because today's world, with technology, we can really make changes with data. If we understand data, we may structure data, unstructured data, everything. A lot of things are happening. So my point is that we entrepreneurs should know what is the point, where we have to have the turning point, where you have push it and will change the thing here. So coming back to the topic, right now we talk about the innovate, integrate, and motivate. After pandemic, now it's not ended. It's a new normal kind of thing started. So we all entrepreneur, new normal, a new business style. We entrepreneurs, we have to very agile, because that I realize that the perception of the customer, the perception of the ecosystem, business ecosystem, perception of the banking industry, whoever in the ecosystem, it's changed. The people are looking at different ways. So we have to change our gear. We have to change our strategy. In terms of business style, we talk about that. You talk about innovate. See, right now, if you want to continue in business, we have to sustain, we have to move on, we have to innovate. Innovate does not mean that we need to do something new or bring some rocket science, right? We have to do whatever things we were doing, We have to think how innovatively, how efficiently, how new way, how cost effectively we can deliver same thing to our customer. You could take example that earlier people they used to go and buy in person different malls and do, but time changed. And time change when we go to earlier we used to go to restaurant. Right now people are ordering online. So perception of the customer change. So as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, we have to understand the customer need and his buying behavior. We have to innovate our approach in that way so that acceptance of the customer will be more to us. It is very important. That's just got innovate. Then integrate. The integrate is also very important for all of us because as a leader, we need to understand who are the key stakeholders. We should know who are the important for our organization, our business, our process, and who are the key people or key stakeholders. We need to integrate them to achieve our goals. That is also important. Third thing is motivate, no doubt. As a leader, our key role, the main role is to keep motivating ourselves, the most important thing. Second, motivating people around us, then business around us. On the other side, you motivate yourselves, you are satisfied or you are convinced by what you are doing, you cannot be 100% to others. That's very important to do. So motivate is the key factor of all the leaders to pursue in their business approach. So I'll just go through a couple of things which I was thinking of that how the new pandemic, how we should, what are the more important thing for all the things. So I just telling of the startup. It's not a startup. It's the people who have come from startup certain level, how they will scale up, how they will go to the next level. We talk about scale up India or stand up India kind of things. We now, the startup, they have gone 0 to 1 crore, 2 crore. How take them to 100 crores or 50 crores? So that the model, that then you need to be change your strategy. The startup is a different, but once you particular level, you know you have set up customer, you know what you are doing, you know you have key people with you, you know the key process with you, you have an infrastructure. Then what you need to do, then you have to change up, you have to change approach. You have to change, then you have to go you should change your buying behavior, you change your bargaining power. You also do certain things like that. You should go on a value chain, up to the value chain, where you will have better margin. So those things has to be also you have to, as a leader, we need to decide. So other things I need to tell you that today's world, the new normal, after this pandemic, after it's going through and a lot of challenges going on, as Mr. Singh said, a lot of companies they perished, a lot of companies closed down, a lot of people also, they have also made good business also. It's like opportunistic, but as rightly he said that if you are consistent, if you know who are your customer, if you know what you are doing, honestly, that sustenance will be a tough time. I give my experience that we're into IT and ITS. Most of the people they close down. For IT companies, it's a good time you say because people there, people started believing that yes, thing can deliver from the home. It is good. Somehow it's a hybrid kind of model come up. Some people they come to the office, some people they deliver from the home. So it also changed the cost dynamics also. So during that point of time, retaining the customer, international and domestic is a tough time for us. Honestly, tough time for us. But there we just try to find out how to understand. We are constantly engaged with the customer, talking to the customers. Leadership, you need to actually key people or you as an individual constantly engage or interact with the customer so that the customer will not divert or distracted to other people. And also be transparent. If you want to retain a customer, as the last thing I was telling you, we need to be very transparent. You have to our customer, tell them what difficulty you are having. You have to make them part of your things so that you'll feel he's also here and his chance of losing the customer will be less. So another point of thing is that you also can think of that the contacts. This time that getting new customer, we are not moving out, at least you just go through your contacts. Every people in a smartphone, they have a number of contacts. Just go through, analyze the way that Mr. Tajendra was telling you. If you analyze those contacts, you will find out at least set up prospective customers for you. You just go through the contracts, lot of new idea will come to your mind, to whom what you can do. So we have to find a way, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, we always should think differently. We have to find out a way how to get business, how to exit. Because if one door is closed, the other thing is opening. That belief we have to have with us. It's not the whole world is closing out. I know some companies close, but they are not closed. They will start something else. They cannot stop. They can. Some people depends, but most of the people again bounce back. We have to go with that kind of confidence and that kind of things. That is very important. Another thing is that you talked about that very good thing about the existing customer. Yes, we can also go with the existing customers, existing challenges. If you can solve a couple of things more, you can get more business also. So getting business to you, bringing business to your company, and it's very important. Once you have business, then other thing will find. So right now the challenge is bringing business. Another thing is that we have the financial difficulty, no doubt. So we have to have the way we have to think innovatively how to deal with the financial people, be it the bank, be it the financial institution, anybody, how to deal with them, how to safeguard our company from them. So those things, and also how to also suppose you get this time, you get more business, also how to also get more funding from the different places, different stakeholders to take it next level. So there are the things we need to always constantly interacting with those stakeholders. It's not as somebody else outside the world will come and tell you. On interaction, you will get all these solutions. That is very important. Keep interacting. We need to interact all the time to our stakeholders. We have discussed our problem. Solution will come from there. I think that if you make somebody understand, I think solution and problem, they are very close to each other. We sometimes looking at the problem, we don't look at the solution. Solution is nearby that. So that's attitude you need to be. So very important also, we have to have a right attitude toward the business. Then clarity. I'm talking about clarity. Clarity, right now people, they are very focused. I was talking to a couple of international customers. They just wanted to understand how stable we are. They are apprehending that some company in Bangalore, other place, they have closed. He said, can you continue with this kind of situation if we give you business? We need to tell in clear that this is what we are, this is what we're going to do. We should not have a tall promise right now because we know the situation is not so conducive. They will also understand. The customer to whom you are interacting also, they will also understand that difficulties all around the world. It's not like only for India, only for the Bombay, only for Bhubaneswar and Delhi. It's all across the things. So everybody will understand, but you need to have courage to discuss your problems and opportunity with the customer and the stakeholders. That is very important. So that means the communication. Coming back again, the communication is very, as a leader, you need to be very good communicator to everybody. You may not have paid salary to 5 people or the employee for 1 or 2 months, but you need them badly. So only you can retain them this situation only if you can communicate them this is your problem, and you can show them you confidence that you can bring back business and pay them. That is why a leader comes to. Other people they तो चुप जाएंगे, पैसा नहीं दिया तो मैं बात नहीं करूंगा. No, we have to face it. We need to face the challenge. We need to accept the challenge. We need to find a solution from the challenge and to communicate to the people. And we should not spend much time on negative thinking. ये बदमाश है, ये चोर, ये खाल नहीं. We should right now very focus what we want. Even if we are doing one thing, let's focus on one thing. We should not think 5 things right point of. Let's success on one thing, go to the next step. And trust me, the customer also, if we are genuine to them, we are clear to them, we are honest to them, the customer will come in rescue of yours. Because if we are not today, pandemic happened just here because we have worked them for a couple of years, a couple of months, something like that. They have seen us. After all, we are all human beings. We cannot think that he's some alien somewhere else, the customer. He has also own problems also. So as a leader, you need to have a team in place. You need to have infrastructure in place. You interact with, suppose you are not able to pay your rent to your house owner, you need to discuss with him. this is what the situation, this is what is happening, this is the business I'm going to get, and I'll take time. If you try to hide yourself, that will create more confusion and more disturbance, more difficulty to tackle the situation. The small thing will become big. This is what I'm telling, because I keep talking to many startups here. Touch wood, nothing happened to me, but many startups, they are verge of closing and surrounding, and they, after listening to me, they again come back, and after 2-3 months, they are normal right now. Only thing is how you look at the things. It's how this is exactly is working this time right now. I know that people talk to, we have to mentally accept that people will not accept immediately. We have to give more energy, more time to perceive them, convince them, and attract them toward us. Same time also, we have to change the perception in line of business. You have to see how things are changing in the world. Earlier, people used to go sit in a restaurant and eat. Right now, they're ordering from the restaurant. So at the restaurant, I should have a plan how much business I'll do it here and how much focus I'll do it to ordering business. And for that, what infrastructure I need. Another more important thing is that we need to also think of that uberization. We need to see around right now is a time of collaboration. Many people are closing. So if you find some good infrastructure, good people, good process, good businesses there, if you have the time, if you have a customer, just acquire them. And then take your business next level, or you just complement each other. I have seen a company here, a robotic company here, and another company, IT company. I saw the small company. They right now just merged together, become a good company right now. I mean, a small startups, they merged and they are doing well. Alone, they were failing. So we have to, as a businessman, छोड़ दीजिए ego के मेरा company है मेरे नहीं तो no. We have to find out what is best for the people in the working the organization. What is the best for the organization? That is very important.
Okay, can I come in? So
Yes.
maybe just one more minute.
Yes.
For you, and then we'll get others in. Obviously, we'll continue with all. I'm sure Mr. Singh also has a lot to share, and you have a lot to share. We'll continue, but maybe one more minute for you to complete this.
Okay. So ultimately, it's all the mindset. It's a mindset. Let me tell you that the whole world is right now. You can conquer the world through mindset. And I'm very honest that if you have the right kind of mindset, you can have everything. What I have practiced, I've experienced last couple of months in this pandemic time also. I didn't come to office 9 months, but I think went well. So because I realized that I have put the process in place. You have to believe people, you have to empower people, you have to delegate people, you have to trust people, get the thing done. You have to allow the people to do mistake. When we start small, we don't rely people. So those kind of things we need to have practice. Yeah, I know it's difficult. It's mera baby hai, even though. So similar kind of way, we have to trust, allow people to also understand us or manage the business. Also, we have to have a successor. Many small companies, they close down because right now they are in crisis of finding successor. Their children are doing something else. Find out those companies, go and join with them, or be an entrepreneur. So world is till today full of opportunity. Let me tell you. With this, I just conclude.
Wonderful. So
I would like to, Shweta, before you start,
Yes.
the question answers, I would like to, summarize what out of these two wonderful interactions, what I had,
Sure.
One is the ethical leadership, very, very important. And we always tell in our boardroom mastery programs also that there is a Chinese proverb which says the fish rots at its head. And very, very important that when we are today talking about leadership, it's very important that we have ethical leadership. And when we are entrepreneurs, we are running our businesses, we become a role model for our customers, our employees and all. So absolutely well said, Mr. Mohanty. Ethical leadership is very, very important. And Tejinder sir, from your interactions, what I could understand is data is new oil. And you are sitting on that gold mine of unstructured data in your organization. And it's really important for businesses to, when we're talking of getting the data outside analytics, it's important that we, look inside our organization and get out, get that data and use it as the vehicle for the growth. So absolutely well said. Over to you, Shweta. I was really delighted to have, wonderful interactions listening to them.
Wonderful. So now all participants, time for all of you to come into the discussion. We'll take up questions. You can unmute yourself, quickly introduce and put up, it could be experience, something that you want to personally ask about your company. And yes, we have Mr. Vimal Savansukha from AHA Impex who has a question. Yes.
Yeah, there's lot of learning from Mr. Singh. My question is, is it possible to MSME or small industries to do the data analysis? Because I think it may be, too much skill is required to analyze your data. Number two, I want to add to my experience to these two wonderful speeches. I am having a small company, but why I have learned what I'm doing is it 2C, means comfort and confidence. So if I bring the confidence and comfort to my customers, there is no dearth of money. I can tell you that people go on sending me the money. Today, one customer sent me $100,000, payment. And then I ask me why you're sending. Okay, you may be in this time, you may be facing some problem. I have a lot of money, you take this money. So lot of customers go on sending. If you work on this 2C, confidence and comfort, nobody will have with the any shortage of money. This is my experience. And I want to learn a lot of things from Mr. Singh. Mohanty, heard in so many times. He's a wonderful, person to learn. And I want to learn so many things from Singh. How MSME can be, benefited from the data analysis,
Yes,
and how
Mr. Singh.
we can do it. Because I think it becomes quite difficult, to whatever the big companies, Amazon or these people are doing, we cannot touch upon their companies. How you can teach us, sir?
Mr. Singh, so how to start?
So
How
it's a
does he
very
start?
good question, and see, first of all, let me just assure you that whatever the mind can conceive and think, it can achieve. Now, being an MSME or an SME, it is always possible to have the data analytics done with whatever turnover your company is. Even a turnover of a company is, say, about 20 lakh rupees, yet data analytics can be done. And if it is a startup, then that company has a huge opportunity to start tapping the data from day one onwards for their growth. Vimal sir, how old is your company?
My company is 15 years old.
Wonderful. So let me just assure every single participant who is there in this conference today that data has an incredible power to change the outcome of whatever you're trying to do. If your data is not trustworthy, then the business is not trustworthy. And you may create wonders from the data in terms of your business. We are looking forward, and we are not, many organizations are not looking forward towards the competitors' data also. So when you say how we can do it, my answer is there is a lot more to understand, on the data front, which is from your sales data, your marketing data, your financial data, or even from your vis-a-vis all these departments. Now, when you actually want to look forward to your data, you also need to study about your competitors' data. What is he doing which we are not doing? What the skill set that company has which we don't have? It can be in terms of product also, it can be in terms of skilled manpower also, or it can be also in terms of your factory or your office located far off from the customers, where they actually feel tough to connect with you. How often your people respond to your customers, very, very promptly. So these are certain elements, that as of now, on a very quick note, where I can just guide you that how you can actually look into your, these kind of micro elements of your data to kind of plug in to a bigger data analytics where you may have to seek professional guidance on the data analytics front to take your business to the next level.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yes. So who has a question ready? I'm sure all of you have. I have a lot of questions, but yes, participants first. So waiting for your questions. Anybody who wants to just unmute and ask their question.
Meantime, participants post in the chat box their questions. I have a question, Tejinder sir. When we, analyze the data, when we know that, okay, this kind of data is available with us. So how do you create really a result oriented, process of using that data? So, can there be kind of, a proper marketing which has to be followed with that, or how do you deal with that? So analytics hone ke baad next step is what? And the second question is about the dashboard. You mentioned about the business dashboard. So if you can throw some light, because we have a lot of startups here, we have a lot of businesses who are these smaller businesses, but many times हमको ही पता नहीं होता है हमारे business में क्या चल रहा है. So how you really meaningfully create those dashboards? So if you can throw some light on that, that would be really helpful to all participants.
So coming to your question number one, which Vimal sir also asked about it, that was just an insight which I just gave about it. Second, how to take the analytics way forward next. See, let me just explain. Without doing analytics, if somebody is designing a strategy for the business, maybe it's a short term or a long term, if you are not looking into your understanding of how your business has worked over a period of time, you're just trying to shoot in the air. So with the data analytics of understanding, as I said, it could be of marketing, it could be of sales, or it could be of your financial matters. Without you understanding the working of it on a year-to-year or on a weekly basis or on a seasonal basis, you cannot have a very fruitful strategy for the next month or the next quarter or the next year. To give an example, we often hear the banking industry that ICICI surpassed its quarter profits by 15%. So when we hear these kind of news, or when we read such kind of news in the newspaper, what is exactly they're trying to say? That ICICI or any IDBI or say Yes Bank, they have surpassed their profits by 15%, which means every quarter they have designed a profit or a turnover or some kind of percentage which they are trying to look into in terms of their retail sales or any kind of structured way where they have kept up a capping. Now this is further divided into all the geographical areas, where they have a division of say city A, B, C. That's how, just to give you an example, how banking industry does the analytics part of it. They divide the country, they divide the city, they divide the state, and that's how they keep the targets. So when this structured way of working is done, you can successfully, if not now, but if you keep on doing it by your own also, it can for the next level of your growth.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
So now can we take a question from the audiences? So any company into IT and ITS services here? Expanding now, getting into the yes. No, I think I have to put something on mute. Sorry.
Yeah, Nitin, can you mute? Yeah.
Yes, I have muted. So, AK, now a question for somebody in your organization where now totally the model has changed in the long term, like you said, cost dynamics bahut hai, but then how do you really manage people? How do you manage the aspirations? A lot of businesses find it difficult to tap the small businesses, find it difficult to tap the aspirations of the younger generation, the millennials. How do you attract such talent and what do you do to retain? And one aspect also as a leader, you spoke about a lot of people issues, but training and development of people. So your take on that?
You see that as leaders, more important, we have to bring more leaders and create more leaders in the organization. That's very important. So we need to bring a culture in the organization. We need to a learning culture or a culture of helping others, juniors, to and give them a chance to be next level. That kind of thing. You need, it should come from top to bottom. It should not come down. It's top to bottom. Once you set and they find that our top management is trying to bring more people to a limelight and more people to leadership, that senior leadership team. So down the line, the managers and other people, they also behave like towards the people. Regarding talking to you asked about how to retain the talent. It's this part of the world, retaining talent is a challenge, but it's if you work close. I spoke just to you also. If you work closely working, there's something. Only money is not everything for people, right? You have they also see that how what kind of responsibility he's having, what kind of learning environment he's having, what kind of project he's working, what technology is working. So is this is going to help to build his career. If you show them a career path, this what we are doing here, and give is going to get you a better future, better things. And also, if you connect to their family, if you have you speak to them time to time, understand their difficulty, and HR need to be very vigilant because for small medium company like us, our best challenge is to the most difficult challenge is to retain the good talent. That's the biggest challenge. And with time, I realized it is eating out. Initial days, it was very difficult to attract. So for that, you as a leader, as a team, you need to be a good salespeople. You need to sell your company to the in mind. You have to convince them. Though we are convincing the customer, you have to convincing the prospect internal customer, your employee. They should see something is future in your organization. And you have to make on the organization so vibrant, they should really enjoy working here.
Right.
I have seen many people working in my organization. They said one left the organization, they again come back. They said, sir, we went for the money, but end of the day we understand we didn't enjoy working with that kind of culture. Even they have gone to a very Fortune 500 company, big companies, again come back and join with me. So I realized that money is not everything for them. So what kind of training, like she said, training opportunity you are giving them? Understanding that the skill gap. You have to find out the skill gap, where you can fit in. What kind of responsibility you are giving to them? What kind of leadership role you are giving to him or her? So those kind of lot of factors. And that is really important for the top management to work with the HR. The HR is the invisible the source of inspiration and energy kind of in the organization. They have to very vibrant. If you want to sustain this kind of market, you need basic thing. And sometimes we entrepreneurs, we work at everything, at HR, at account, everything. So we have to talk to interact with the people, discuss with the problems. If somebody is leaving, why is leaving? Can he accommodate with bit of extra money given to him, or some difficulties happening? If 90% of the time you can solve the problem, return the guy.
Right. Wonderful. I think, yes, very useful, because this is a problem I'm sure all of us face. So I think Mr. Jagdish Naik has a question. Please unmute yourself, introduce your company, and ask your question. You have to unmute yourself, sir. Yes.
I am Jagdish Naik, MD and founder of Cleantech Laboratory Private Limited. We are in diagnostic field for last 31 years. But we have a great issue with setting up of a sales team, and even I've tried with the carrot and stick approach, but not able to crack the people to get the work done. How can I solve this problem?
Okay. So, I think both these speakers can give quick takes on this. In fact, let me put the question because I know the organization closely. So a lot of, and this is not with them. I think a lot of us also have this issues. A lot of MSME owners are there, not trained in sales themselves. They've not done, they don't have sales people within the organization today. They really, when they want to set a sales team, and all of that in place, it's very challenging to get sales and business development people to work in MSMEs and work for smaller brands. So
Yeah,
your take on this?
yeah, it is not only for small, it's a bigger brand also. Everybody is facing. So getting a best medium guy, business development guy, all across the world is a challenge. If not in India, everywhere I have seen people, they are facing challenges. But you, as an entrepreneur, you have to think innovatively. So sometimes I use interns. You should have because no, I think nobody's a medium team here. So people they you have to have internal system to have the way Mr. Singh said, you should have all sales data with you, because if somebody person leaves and he goes with to the data, then as an small organization like us will suffer a lot. So you have a central system of keeping all the either some CRM, something you should use it. This guy who is coming or this person who is working here, he can take it next level. And you should feel, you take it granted that person who more than 2 years is a luxury to you when you're starting. You should plan accordingly. You should not think that somebody कोई काम करे 2 साल अच्छा है, 1-2 साल होने के बाद they will start looking for the job. So usually you find out as what like things local management institutes or जहाँ पर है, you can train them and put them into on the job kind of thing.
Right, right.
Those people, so out of 10 people, or 2 or 3 people will be good for you, and they will take it to next level. 8 people will be garbage. But you have to, you see the continuous process of getting people, train them, putting into sales kind of thing. If you think that I have a team sales ke liye wo kaam karenge, suddenly you find that nobody's there. There's a huge gap. Then again you have to jump to the things. If a process in place, because what I'm telling, this is my experience I'm telling. I've seen this kind of thing. So you have to have thing. You have to very closely monitor those people, sales people. First thing, sales data is very important. Keep intact. Very important for you. To whom they have made. Otherwise, you lose all your money, 2 years effort down on the drain. Second thing is that you should have a model of how to also other people. I think some low experience, it can be more other sales people to train them and send them. So you have to balance the whole thing.
Right. Okay. Wonderful. Thanks, AK. So, Mr. Singh, anything that you would want to add here? We have our last 10 minutes, so quickly, any questions, put it in the chat window for us to take it, or just unmute and ask. Yes, Mr. Singh, your take, sales data.
I have my different understanding with what Mr. Naik has put up the question. As an entrepreneur, what I have understood is we know what we want. Okay. But do we actually take so much of pain to understand what our employees want? As a business owners, our demands and our anxiety changes every quarter when the financial things doesn't work out well. And that's how the carrot and the stick formula, which is there from last, I would say, ever since the business has started in the world, this is already there. But let us take business and the employees in a relationship of a father and a son or a daughter. A father understands the needs of his or her child. And the child demands keeps on changing. If the father doesn't understand the demands of a child in a very, very, very understanding way on a month-on-month basis or a quarter-on-quarter basis, so the father will always use the carrot and the stick stigma because he's a father. Same is the business. We need to understand how the demands of our how the demands of our employees are changing every month. The performance that is expected from him, do you actually gauge him that he can perform that way? To what optimum level, the best, what you have tried to take out performance from him? Let me tell everyone here that every human has the capacity to explore biggest of the biggest in this world. But as I said, it is just the belief system that runs and makes us what we are. Your employees, till the time they are not tapped potentially and explored by giving more and more opportunities, by understanding the first thing, his or her demands, you know, it's just a simple language to understand. Till the time the employee's pockets are not full and he's not happy from the pocket, he would not perform. So
Right.
we need to understand first that from his pocket, how much is he happy. Incentivizing somebody is all the formulas which may or may not work for everyone. So this is where the connect of an employee and an entrepreneur becomes very important when we want to actually tap the potential of the performance.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Mr. Singh. A very, very interesting take. Completely agree. And so one question is a lot of people are sending me direct messages. I'm making a note. I'm not taking up things that don't qualify as a question. But yes, we are taking care of your feedback and all the comments that you're giving. Okay, so here is one question for AK and Mr. Singh. So, we have spoken about leadership, people, a leader has to take care, work on strategy, work on data, manage people, so many things, look at the market dynamics. But to do all of that, it first begins with yourself. It is about self mastery, self development as a leader. So, we know of a lot of things that you do, but as personally from your experience, if you look at our changing scenario and you have to tell us any top 3 or 5 things that you want all of us to go back on, work on as leaders for our own self improvement, what would be that in order of priority? AK, first to you,
Yeah,
and then it's the same 5 things that you suggest
I,
for each of us.
first thing is that you should marry some books. You should keep reading because the only thing refreshes you. First, very important. Second thing is the self interaction, talking to yourself. Sometimes the whole world may be look at you differently, but if you know you are right, you are thing will come opposite. So you need to talk to yourself. Third thing is that you should also we need to be a bit careful about our lifestyles. Very important. Of late I realize, but it's very important for if you want to be more successful, give more time to our team or company, and make the thing. We need to first. We need to be healthy. The third thing. Fourth thing would be you should be surrounding of the positive people and keep and open to interact, discuss with the things to different people. Because now because information right data information is very important. You should know, and you should lastly you should part of this kind of things to you should learn a lot of things to different people, part of different seminars or different small company like you get connected with many people, slowly expand the network.
Right. Thank you, AK. Mr. Singh, over to you.
The first thing that I want to just make it clear that I have spoken about a lot of things about data, but data by itself doesn't produce that intelligence. Data has to be put into the context of the business outcome to give you a valuable insight. So this is something very important, for all of us to take it ahead. So ऐसा ना हो कि tomorrow we all sit in our businesses and we start understanding the data. But data has to be put in the context of business outcome. Only then it will give you a kind of results. So the 5 pointers: one, keep learning. Two, know your employees well before you know the customer. Three, if you have a vision, before that, understand the employee's vision. The formula is employee's vision plus entrepreneur's vision is equal to company's vision. This formula is very important.
Right.
Third, keep loving your employees as you would love your vendors or your customers. Keep connecting to your employees always as you would want to connect with your customers. I'm not talking the primary as customers, I'm primarily talking about the employees. So these are the 5 fundamentals of every entrepreneur which he or she needs to take it forward only if they want to take the business to the next level.
Wonderful. True. Self learning, investment in our learning is very important. And so last words from both our speakers, and one area which both of you could touch upon is also technology. Okay, so Viv Joss has a question. which are the key points we should think while defining our mission, vision, and objectives? I don't know how to put this question, but this is a question from one of our participants. So when he's talking about drafting a vision, mission, and his objectives, how to go about it? Maybe quick pointers that could help him. Any of you could take it.
So you know that I always say that you just people need to be dream big. This was courage to dream big. When I was 5,000 rupees started my company, I thought I'll do 100 crores company or this kind of thing. People, it may sound bad, only realistic. It may not fit into data, but you should have courage to think big. When the Facebook or whoever started, they small also 1 or 2%, they are so big. So you may many times you will feel that people will feel bad if you not attend. But it's not like that. If you have the courage, you know that. So you talk to yourself, you set a goal. This is what I am, this is the goal, this is the things I am going to attend. Write you to that. How to make strategy, then what you are today and what are things to do, then connect. Then you according, you see, vision and mission, the mission, the vision, mission, they are all, it's a talking to each other kind of things, right? So you need to change on the way, strategy may change, your things will change. But you need to very clear what you want, what lastly where you want to go, what level you want to attend. That if you fit, if you put it somewhere, board somewhere, it reminds you, it reminds your team, everybody on that. So that is why I'm telling you, the mission, vision, everything is relevant if you know what we are going to do. If you have a clarity on the thought process, what goal, what you are going to achieve, or what you are, what is your strength, what you can do, then you can connect that. 1% to $1 billion company can be connected. If you know what $1 billion company है, मुझे क्या करना है, how I am going to achieve, and what I am, then you can connect. So these are the very theoretical thing, but my suggestion will be that you should you set your goal and be have possible. Once you realize it's possible, you can make it.
Wonderful. Mr. Singh, any quick additions here? Great. So he thanks. You know,
Vision and mission are two different aspects of your business. Just to cut it very short, vision is like what you see, what you forecast. Mission is what you want to achieve. So these two, both analogies work very differently. I remember last year I was working with a company at Dehradun, and they wanted to make their vision mission statement. So it took us about 4.5 days to actually come out with a right vision and a right mission, which actually they thought that is what is their vision. But when we did our entire exercise, which there is a process of drafting a vision or a mission of a company. So when we did that process, the vision that they thought was actually not the vision,
Right.
and the mission that they had actually changed it. So there is an entire process. People have a knack of these two words, and it is quite often heard from everyone that mera vision aisa hai, I want to make a mission. But there is a process of drafting it. It has to come from inside. It is something that cannot be drafted or given by any mentors like us. But as a mentor, we know that there is a process how the inside vision can come out and become can be written on a piece of paper. So it's too early for me to comment without understanding that what they have in the mind, which is something a very very small data, which is that they have in the mind. So if the small data is not done right, then you cannot get the big data right, which is a mission, a small, the vision, a big. So it cannot be done right if it is not anticipated or taken up in a right process.
wonderful. So we are seriously short of time. So quick last 1 minute wrap up your summary or key highlights that you want to leave us with, starting with Mr. Singh and then to AK, and then we close this session.
The summary, I would just want to put it forward that you don't want to go willy-nilly collecting the sources of data, but then because you're going to have this, it's really a matter to ask yourself questions on a questions that is this what I really want to do with my company. So that is what I want to leave with.
Yes, AK, over to you.
Yeah, so the more important thing as an entrepreneur at this point of time, we need to be very focused on what we are doing. We should not be so distracted. And let's make a small milestone and achieve it and we go for, because next 1 or 2 years is going to be very crucial for all of us, very important for all of us. And also, another point is that you also sometimes see that how we will scale the things. We should not continue the same. Scaling is very important. Scaling can be only done to increase the bandwidth in the organization. You have to have a more you in the organization. That is important.
Wonderful, wonderful. Divya, final words from you, and then maybe we could close the session.
Yes, absolutely. A wonderful session, Mr. Mohanty and Mr. Singh. Mr. Singh, one thing which I wanted to ask you, what this M3 denotes in your name of the company? What is that 3M you're talking of? So,
Yes, yes.
you know, that is really, I think one M might be money, no doubt about it. But over to you,
No, it
and I
is
would
not
like to know
money.
from you.
No, it's not money.
It's not
No,
money,
it is
okay?
M.
Then what is that? That is more
M.
interesting then.
No, M doesn't represent. M doesn't represent money. M represents as management. Okay. The 3 represents the factors that we work with management. One is analytics, second is strategizing, and the third is implementing. So that's
Wonderful.
M3, management. We work with management on these 3 aspects.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And after listening to today's session, one thing which, reminds me is the quote of John F. Kennedy, who says the leadership and learning goes hand in hand. And we all, the leaders here, surely have that mindset of learning, and that's where we all came together to learn these wonderful insights from our mentors today. And on behalf of IMC, because we are concluding this 7-session series, let me thank each one of you to be here with us during this entire 7-session series. And let me tell you a lot of things. I mean, I have taken a lot of things from this 7-session series. Say, for example, goal setting. For example, creating your vision mission. For example, creating your business model, business plan. So, we are trying to, at IMC level, create a structure wherein we actually help the entrepreneurs, the business leaders from all these things. So, I think very soon we will be coming out and rolling out different, kind of sessions for all these aspects also. And till then, stay tuned, and thank you very much for being here with all of us. Once again, on behalf of IMC, I thank both our speakers for being here with us today, and thank you, Shweta, for wonderful moderation. And Nitin, no doubt, thank you for being here with us for entire 7 sessions. And now your work starts, because you'll have to, make sure that whosoever gets in touch with you, we are able to help them, facilitate them, and getting them connected with right people whom they are looking at. So I think that's where we will be able to make and bring that impact at IMC or at Navi Mumbai, very, very specially when we are talking of IMC Navi Mumbai. Thank you.
Absolutely right.
True. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, our speakers and all our participants. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank
Nitin,
you.
we could end.
Yeah.
You could end the session. Yes.
Yes.